friends, this is Mrs. Thrasher, and I'm here to teach you a little bit of science today. I wish we were in my classroom, but instead I get to teach you from my house. We're going to talk about the 5 senses, 5, and how you use them. I think some of you have been talking about that with your teachers, so this will help to just reinforce what you've already learned, and hopefully something new. Before we talk about the 5 senses, we're going to talk about something really cool, our brain. It's located in our heads, it's under our skull, and we have to protect it. All of our senses send our brain messages, and those messages will tell us what we see with our eyes, smell with our nose, hear with our ears, taste with our tongue, and touch with our hands. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about each of the senses and use some of my fun holiday items. First sense we're going to talk about are our eyes. We see with our eyes. Here's a fun little book. You see with your eyes. Here's a set of eyes, 2 eyes. And here is another little boy and his 2 eyes. These eyes are brown and these eyes are blue. What we're going to talk about is how do we see with our eyes. First, you need light to see. We can't see in the dark. If Mrs. Thrasher covered her eyes, she would not see anything at all. If you want to see what your eyes look like, you could look at them in a mirror and you will see a reflection. It will show you what you see in the mirror. We've already talked about in my classroom that sometimes you need a magnifying glass to see things. They can be so tiny that you have to have a magnifying glass. And some of you really enjoyed looking through the binoculars when we were outside doing class to see if we could see birds. This helps us see far away. I don't know if you've noticed, but Mrs. Thrasher has her flashing lights on. Lots of times this time of year we see lots of lights on trees, in bushes, on houses, on necklaces. So I wanted to show you what it looked like to see some lights. Your eyes have different parts, and the 2 most important parts are the part that has the color, that's the iris, and the part in the middle is the pupil. And if it's really dark outside or really bright outside, the pupil changes size. You'll learn more about that as you get older. Sometimes we need tools to help us see even better. Mrs. Thrasher has glasses, and if I didn't have my glasses on, I couldn't see you very well. Sometimes we might use rainbow glasses so that you could look through and see things in a different color. Or one of my favorites, 3D glasses. You might someday go see a movie where you see it in 3D. That means that it's going to look like it's coming at you. You may have to go have an eye test. That's when a doctor checks your eye. They may cover one eye and test this eye, your right eye, or they may cover this eye and test your left eye. Animals use their eyes to see too. A spider even has 8 eyes, and hawks have excellent vision. Remember when we talked about the owls and how they are able to see even in the dark? Their pupils are really big, the black part of the eye. I hope that you've learned a little bit about your eyes, and we are going to do lots of things where you use your eyes to see. Next, we're going to talk about our ears and how we use them to hear. We each have 2 ears, and here's a picture, 1 ear, 2 ear. Here's another cute little set of ears. What do you hear? You don't even see it, but you can hear it. We hear it a lot at Christmas time. Bells. Instruments make music. They make lots of different sounds. Sometimes we might play a drum, or we might play guitar, or we might play our piano, but those make beautiful sounds. I even brought my music box. And you can hear a Christmas tree. In order to use our ears to hear, we take in the sound waves that we hear, and it goes to our ears, and it tells the auditory nerve, a nerve, to tell our brains, remember the brain that's up here, what we hear. Some sounds may be loud, some sounds might be soft. Some sounds might be fast and some sounds might be slow. But music is one of our favorite things during the holidays to hear and listen to. So if you're singing Christmas carols or you're talking to your mom and dad, listen very carefully and try to hear with both of your ears. Some sounds we know without even seeing where it's coming from. Like if a car were to honk, beep, beep, you would know that that's what it is. Sometimes you can hear a dog bark, but you don't see the dog. Your ears sense the sound of the dog barking. I can make a sound with my hands clapping. I can do it fast. I can do it very slow and soft. So we can make our own sounds. Sometimes our friends might need something to help them hear even better because our ears don't always work just perfectly. So sometimes you might have a friend that has a hearing aid. And sometimes if you're at a concert, they may use speakers that amplify, make it so much louder so that the whole building can hear. Certain animals have big ears to hear really well, like a rabbit. And some animals, they make sounds to find each other, like the crickets. I hope that you enjoy hearing lots of sounds over the holidays. Lots of bells. Next, we're going to talk about our sense of touch, what we feel. And most of the time, we touch with our fingers. We feel with our hands. Here's a picture of a hand. But sometimes we can feel with our feet and our hands. What we really feel with is our skin. And when something touches our skin, nerve endings send a message to our brain to tell us if it's hot or if it's cold or if it causes pain. Sometimes you can feel if someone scratches your back or pulls your hair or you step on a rock with your foot. So we don't want to think that you just touch with your fingers, but that is what we're going to do in our class when you see me next time. Sometimes we touch things and they are really soft, like my Minnie Mouse or maybe your Lovey. And we always love something soft because it feels good to us. A little cotton ball or fur, that's something soft. Some things are hard, like one of my favorite Christmas books, Who is Coming to Our House? And something hard, it just doesn't feel soft, it feels hard. Another thing might feel smooth, like a piece of wood. That is smooth. If it's not smooth, it might be bumpy, like your rug at your house or rocks on the ground. Some things might be rough, like sandpaper. Ooh, that doesn't feel so good. And some things could be prickly, like a pine cone. So I want you, while you're home over the holidays, to use your little hands and see what you can find. You could go on a scavenger hunt around your house and see if you can find things that are soft, that are hard, that are bumpy, that are smooth, that are rough, that are prickly. Another thing you might do is you could tell your mommy, is the bath water hot or is it cold? So we can use our skin to sense if something is hot or cold or sharp or prickly. I hope that you guys have enjoyed talking about your hands and what we touch and what we feel. Next, we're going to talk about our sense of smell, where we use our nose, and our sense of taste, where we use our tongue. So when we use our nose, we breathe in the air, it goes up into our nose, and when it reaches the top of our nose, it sends a signal to the brain as to what we smell. Some smells are very strong, and some smells are not as strong. Some things smell very good to me. They might not smell very good to you. When we use our sense of smell, we can actually smell more than one thing at a time. Sometimes you might smell two different things cooking, or the smell of chocolate and peppermint at the same time if it was both in your hot chocolate. So this is a nose. Here's another picture of a nose. And here's one of my favorite books, The Sweet Smell of Christmas. At Christmas time, there are lots of things that we can smell. We can smell cookies. I love it. Or peppermints. Even better. And sometimes your mommies and daddies, they might burn a candle. This one smells like my Christmas tree. So when you're out and about and you're at home, use your nose and see what you can smell. A fun fact is that we can remember smells better than we can remember sounds and sights. So just like we were talking about earlier, you don't have to see what you're smelling to know what you're smelling. Sometimes you just know that it's a lemon because you've learned the smell of a lemon. If we were in my classroom, I would have different things for you to smell. So while you're at home, I want you to smell different things and see if you like them or if you don't like them. Sometimes people will smell an onion and it makes them cry. It makes your eyes water. And sometimes if you smell pepper, you might even sneeze. Flowers, some people love the smell of flowers and some people do not. Some people are allergic to flowers, so they can't smell flowers because it'll make them sneeze. Another smell that makes some people happy is the smell of different foods like bacon or cupcakes or apple pie. Other people might not like the smell, so that's okay, but we use our nose to smell. If we can't smell, like when we have a cold, then sometimes we can't taste. And the next sense we're going to talk about is our sense of taste, where you use your tongue. And this is a funny picture of a tongue. But your tongue has things called taste buds, and those taste buds help you determine what you're eating. Some taste buds will tell you if something is sour, like a lemon. And some things will tell you if it's salty on this side of your tongue, on the sides of your tongue, like a pretzel or a potato chip. My favorite is on the front of your tongue if something is sweet, like a cookie, or if you have ice cream. Yummy. And then in the very back of your tongue is a part of your tongue way back here that will tell you if something is bitter. And that might mean something like tea that doesn't have any sugar in it, or coffee, or sometimes a medicine might be a little bitter, but there's a trick. If you don't think you're gonna like the way something tastes, you can hold your nose, because if you can't smell it, you can't taste it. But as soon as you let go of your nose, you will be able to taste it. Another fun thing about the sense of taste is that animals use their tongues to taste just like we do. And some of them even use their tongues to move food and pick it up, like a giraffe or an elephant. And some actually stick out their tongues to catch their food, different insects or snakes or different animals. So not only do we use our tongue to taste, but we use it to talk and to chew and to detect the different tastes. Our tongue is a muscle. So friends, I'm glad we got to talk about our 5 senses today. I can smell my dog, I can see my dog, I can feel my dog, I can hear my dog when he barks, and he can taste when he eats his treats. Merry Christmas.